They're going to certainly give it their all to try and beat Arsenal today. Difficult uphill task for them, but that 4-0 win over Wolves has certainly given them a massive boost, that's for sure. The players are on their way out of the tunnel, led by the respective captains, Martin Odegaard and James Tarkowski. Huge game here at the Emirates this afternoon, and Arsenal and Liverpool both kick off at the same time today. Arne Slot's side facing Fulham, so Arsenal are going to want to keep the Merseyside outfit on their toes this afternoon. Sit back and enjoy this one in the company of Dean Ashton and Ian Danter.
Thank you, Faye, and a very good afternoon to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. We are back then at Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal welcomed a side they've beaten more than any other in their history and scored the most goals against too. Everton have only won one of their previous 28 trips to either this ground or Highbury before it, and Sean Dyche's side arrive here today not having scored an away goal for over a month. Goals certainly not a problem for the Gunners lately, 16 in their last 5 matches, including the 3 they notched here against Wednesday against Monaco in the Champions League, and it could and maybe should have been more than 3. Mikel Arteta once again faces the team he played for in the mid to late 2000s before his move here. It was Arteta's Arsenal side that were beaten by Everton here in April 2021 on that only trip in 28 where the Toffees took 3 points from this part of North London. Well, team news, Arsenal made a few changes for the European tie in midweek, including a chance up front for Gabriel Jesus, who failed to score. Kai Havertz replaced him and did get the 3rd goal. The German is restored for Jesus into the starting lineup today. Gabriel is also back after injury in central defence, and because Miles Lewis-Skelly did so well at left back, he keeps his place, so Thomas Partey drops out the side, allowing Jurrien Timber to move to right back. Everton have had a week and a half clear to prepare for this one after the Merseyside derby fell victim to the weather 7 days ago. It was a resounding 4-0 win over Wolves at Goodison last time out, but Sean Dyche has to make one change from that starting 11. Denied Dwight McNeil due to injury. That means Jack Harrison comes in for Everton's only change. So the lineups for Arsenal: Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Lewis-Skelly in the back 4, Odegaard, Marino and Rice in midfield, Saka, Havertz and Martinelli in attack. As for Everton, Pickford in goal, Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikalenko in their back 4, and Jai, Gay, Mangala, Harrison and then Doucouré in midfield. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the lone striker. On the bench for Arsenal, Neto, Tierney, Partey, Jesus, Kivior, Trossard, Jorginho, Sterling and Nwaneri. Everton's bench: Virginia, Patterson, Keane, Beto, O'Brien, Broja, Coleman, Lindstrom and Armstrong. Craig Pawson, the man in the middle today. Dean Ashton, the former West Ham and England striker, alongside me. In our commentary position at the back of the lower tier in the West Stand, the clock end to our right, the North Bank away to our left-hand side. I'll keep you updated on scorelines elsewhere in the Premier League, the EFL, Scotland, from all the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've already had 7 early kickoffs in the EFL, 2 of which were live across the Talksport network, with Leeds snatching a late point at Preston and Coventry coming from behind to beat Hull City. Kevin Campbell's been remembered here with a giant tifo saying "one of our own," celebrating the fact that the late great Kevin Campbell played for both Arsenal and Everton. And also there was a tifo not only denoting Kevin's sad passing, but also remembering Jose Antonio Reyes and David Rocastle, similarly taken way before their time. We are underway on Talksport 2. Arsenal in their red and white shirts, white shorts, red socks, and they're attacking the clock end to our right. Everton in all blue this afternoon, attacking the North Bank, and straight away a strong foot in from Ashley Young, and he clips the ball down the right hand side, asking Calvert-Lewin to give chase. Gabriel back in the Arsenal side today, dumps on the seat of his pants, but he was being pulled back by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so it ends up being an early free kick for Arsenal. 30 seconds gone. Good afternoon, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, good afternoon everybody. How brave are Everton going to be? I wouldn't expect too brave. I would expect them to want to really dig in and put an incredible defensive display, which is what it's going to need to be today at the Emirates against this Arsenal side, who are now full of confidence after Martin Odegaard came back. And if Everton can use set plays and on the counter-attack, that's when they can try and be dangerous.
Gabriel Martinelli picks it up for Arsenal on the right-hand side, and it's noticeable already that Miles Lewis-Skelly, this young left-back, is doing the Joao Cancelo sort of thing and pushing in field, not playing as an orthodox left-back, but supplementing that midfield more often than not when Arsenal have the ball as they do now, with Timber in his right-back position, midway point of his own half. Back it goes to Saliba and then across to Gabriel. Gets his head up, but there's no real movement ahead of him, so he's gone square to his right for Timber once again. Gets up to the halfway line. Odegaard holding this near touchline if Timber wants to roll it into him, but he elects not to and goes back instead into his own half. And patient in these early moments for Arsenal. Saliba in the centre circle. Plays a short right-footed pass to Jurriën Timber, who's been playing at left-back in recent times. Back in his more natural habitat of right back this afternoon for Arsenal. Gabriel just shy of the halfway line. Now he looks longer with a diagonal ball looking for Saka on this right hand side, but Iliman Ndiaye comfortably wins that header. Playing on the left this afternoon for Everton, normally plays on the right, but with McNeil absent, him and Harrison appear to have switched in these early stages, at least for the Toffees. 0-0.
Well, he's going to be asked, as well as Harrison, the defending's first rather than attacking. They're attacking players, of course, but defensively they're going to need to be absolutely on point and giving their fullback as much support as they can.
Rice floats it out to Saka as they take a quick free kick just inside the Everton half. Sean Dyche right at the edge of his technical area, just down beneath us, as Odegaard, well, tricks himself on this near touchline. Did a little pirouette and knocked it straight out of play with his left heel. Throw into Everton, 0-0.
It's just so unlike him, that's the problem, isn't it?
It is. 17 Premier League chances created since he came back into the side on November the 10th. It's the most in the Premier League, that. And 7 of those chances were created for Bukayo Saka alone. It's not a one-man team, Arsenal, but goodness me, when Odegaard's in it, they are so much more of a threat. Here is Odegaard, inside right channel, plays it out to the wing, and Saka, faced up by Mykolenko, level with the area, rolls it in field. Declan Rice picks it up midway point of the half, gets it back, having played a short 1-2 with Odegaard, but Everton got everybody back behind the ball as Saliba picks it up just by the centre circle. Rice again slides it into the path of Bukayo Saka, who can run down the right-hand side. He's also got Ndiaye as well as Mykolenko to worry about. Right-hand corner of the box, rolls it back to Odegaard, who swings a left-footed ball in, but volleyed clear by Ashley Young, and almost kept in play on this near side by Ndiaye, but a throw, and Odegaard quickly gets a ball off one of the cones, and we're back underway.
Well, I think Marino's an interesting addition, isn't he, to this Arsenal squad, especially when so much of the play comes down the right-hand side. And then if you're looking and teams are sat deep and you want to get that ball into the box, and the two left-footers, Odegaard and Saka, are looking to in-swing it, he's playing further up than Rice. Rice is holding, Marino playing the left-hand side of midfield, looking to get in the box with his aerial power. Lovely ball out to the Arsenal right. Saka again, up against Mykolenko, finds Odegaard, left-hand corner of the box, lofts it down the right-hand side of the box, but just got a bit too much club on that, Martin Odegaard, and it just bounced once and over the dead ball line. Some early goals to tell you about in League One. Rotherham lead Northampton Town by a 1-0. That's Johnson Clark-Harris, the former Peterborough striker, with that. Falkirk, the Scottish Championship leaders, are ahead at Ayr United. Ethan Ross. Motherwell in the Scottish Prem are 1-0 up against Dundee United. And it's 0-0 here at the Emirates. 5 minutes gone. Ball played into Idrissa Gueye. Back to Jordan Pickford, who may well have a busy afternoon. And he's forced to clear under pressure, and the clearance only found Bukayo Saka. But they're trying to maraud around him now, Everton. Timber, right-hand side, tries to skip inside the challenge of Ndiaye, but Everton win it back, and Ndiaye plays the ball down the left channel, kept in play by Doucouré, tried to find Calvert-Lewin on halfway, but that was comfortably intercepted by Saliba, right on this near touchline in front of our commentary position. It's 1-1 back by Everton, though, and it's not back for Calvert-Lewin. Good skill. And then it's picked up by Orem Mangala, running through the centre circle, plays it out left, and Doucouré's in behind. Doucouré in the area, drives it wide, just shanks it wide of the left-hand post, but it took a deflection. It's a corner kick to Everton, away to our left, 0-0. Gigantic chance for Everton, and Doucouré He's not got a goal or an assist this season, and he just looks so unconfident. You could tell he wanted it on his right foot, so he waited for ages to set himself for the left-footed strike, allowed Gabriel to come across to get the block. No, that needed to be quicker. Get out your feet, strike with confidence.
It's a great sliding challenge from Gabriel, in fairness to him, to divert it behind for a corner where the North Bank meets the West Stand for Everton. Harrison's going to take it. We might actually leave it for Iliman Ndiaye. They can't make their minds up without Dwight McNeil out there, Dean, who's going to take the set pieces.
That is strange, though. Unless one of them have got it wrong and not seen the iPad before the game.
Well, Harrison's gone straight into the 6-yard box to join with Doucouré. Calvert-Lewin's making a run in there now. In comes the corner, flicked away by Rice to the far post. Everton trying to keep it alive inside the Arsenal box. Brought down by Mangala. Tarkowski out to the right-hand side. Doucouré tries a cross. It's deflected away. And there's a chance for Arsenal to counter here. Bukayo Saka lays it back into midfield. Midway point of his own half. And now the Gunners will calm it down. 7 minutes gone. 0-0 on Talksport 2.
What a chance, though, for Doucouré. Brilliant break from Everton. Calvert-Lewin involved. Good bit of build-up. Great pass from Mangala in towards Doucouré. Odegaard couldn't stretch. It opened up the space. He had the time. Just took so long to set himself. Like he'd never kicked the ball with his left foot before.
Now Martinelli, as Arsenal come forward into the area, left-hand side, trying to get past Tarkowski, who concedes a corner. Arsenal's first corner of the game, as Martinelli went at the Everton captain, but the Everton captain was equal to it, 0-0.
Yeah, you'd have fancied him there, Martinelli, wouldn't you, against Tarkowski? Tarkowski backs right in towards the 6-yard line in the end, but just waited for Martinelli to actually commit. And as soon as he did, he read it and stepped across brilliantly.
So Rice is going across to take the corner in front of the Everton fans, where the clock end meets the east stand over on the far side of the field from us. Be a right-footed in-swinger from Declan Rice.
I still cannot understand why, when all these Arsenal players are at the back post, why you don't man-to-man mark them. I do not understand that.
Everyone's aware of what Arsenal do now, or tend to do at these set pieces. All the Arsenal players now make a run to the near post. In it comes Pickford, punches clear, lands in the penalty box, but it's nodded down by Mangala for Doucouré, who just hoofs it. Anywhere will do, get it up to halfway, and Everton can try and reset. It's one back by Lewis Skelly.
The problem with that teams have had, though, is they're all stood looking at the ball. All the Arsenal players are behind them, and they're kind of checking their shoulder. And the Arsenal players then run from the back post and just run past you at the last minute, and you can't react in time because of it. I'm amazed they don't man-mark this Arsenal attack from set plays.
Rice being set upon by Mangala, but wins it back. Lewis Skelly in the centre circle, options right and left, slides it out left for Gabriel Martinelli for Arsenal, running at Ashley Young, left-hand corner of the penalty area. Rice is in acres of space at the edge of the box, but not used. It's gone back to Gabriel in the centre of the Everton half. Now touched out to Lewis Skelly, left-hand side, thinks about a cross. Left-hand corner of the box, gives it out to the left-hand side, ball in, and Odegaard sweeps it over the bar with a left-footed effort, just over the half volley, just bounced a bit too much for him to sweep it the way he would have wanted. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, look, not the easiest of techniques, but for someone as technical as Odegaard, you would expect better. Marino picks him out brilliantly, but it just bounces in front of him up to about knee height, and really he needs to go with the laces and get right over the top of it and hit it in towards the ground almost and skip it off the surface. He goes for the side foot and just comes a little bit off his shin and up and over.
That's Dean Ashton, former West Ham and Norwich and England striker, you can hear alongside me, Ian Danta, this afternoon at Emirates. It's 0-0 here. Swansea leads Sunderland in the Championship by a goal to nil. Zan Vipotnik. Ross County lead by a goal to nil at Hibs in the Scottish Prem, and Birmingham City lead Bristol Rovers in League One. Lee Buchanan for the Blues. No goals elsewhere in the Premier League so far today. Liverpool, Fulham, Newcastle, Leicester and Wolves, Ipswich are the other 3 o'clock kickoffs in the top flight today. Ball is in the Arsenal half with Jurgen Timber at 0-0. 10 minutes gone on Talksport 2. No real gilt-edged chances for Arsenal, but Doucouré with that terrific opportunity being played in on the left-hand side of the area for Everton, but a chance not taken. Martinelli left-hand side, skips in field. Middlesbrough have the lead against Millwall. Emmanuel Latte-Lat with another goal for Borough, who are improving all the time, but they failed to win their last 2 Martinelli in behind for Arsenal. Left-hand side, tried to pull it back to Odegaard at the edge of the area. Branthwaite was able to intercept. Back it goes to Rice in the centre of the Everton half. Plays it just to his right for Timber. Further right for Odegaard. Again, everybody bar Calvert-Lewin back behind the ball for Everton. As Saka looks to jink his way past Mikalenko. Rice lofts it into the box, headed up in the air by Tarkowski. Drops for Lewis Skelly, who picks it up 25 yards out with his back to goal. Rolls it in field to Odegaard. Lovely drop of the shoulder from Odegaard. Makes space for the shot. Drags it only just wide with his left foot. Didn't take a deflection. It's a goal kick for Everton as Martin Odegaard sent at least 2 Everton defenders completely the wrong way at the edge of the D. 0-0.
Oh, terrific, wasn't it? Just lent into him. 10 yards outside the penalty area. He just jinks to his left. I think he can do more of this, actually. Odegaard looked to go himself at times because defenders, as Branthwaite and Tarkowski were there, they were expecting the pass, so they go to ground and then he can take the shot himself. He just drags it.
0-0 here. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. Andreas Pereira has given Fulham the lead at Anfield in one of the other 3 o'clock kickoffs today. We'll keep you in touch with everything going on elsewhere here on Game Day Exclusive this afternoon on Talksport. Already Sean Dyche and Ian Woan, his trusty sidekick, are in conversation inside the technical area. Woan goes to sit back down. You're only really allowed one person at the edge of the technical area. Them's the rules. Arsenal in possession, that 0-0. 12.5 minutes gone. Turned back by Saliba for his keeper. So you listen to Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget, you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on Now, like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa, live today. Just search Now Sports. Odegaard, who's just had that great chance for Arsenal. Right hand side, knocks it in field. Nearly 80% possession for Arsenal in these opening 13 minutes. But it remains goalless. Martinelli, left hand side, rolling his foot over the ball several times. Plays it back in field via Gabriel to Rice. Back out to the left hand side. Martinelli again, up against his opposite number Harrison. Plays it in field. Rice has got a bit of space. Just chips it, looking for Saka, right hand side of the box. And he's offside. The assistant on this near touch line just bided his time and then raised the flag, and Everton have a free kick. It's goalless on Talksport 2.
Yeah, he's just looking, isn't he, for that darting run, Saka, in behind. He's sort of showing as if he's going to go wide, and he's just waiting then to make that darting run to be clipped in over the top. He just went a little early on that time. You just mentioned there about the possession for Arsenal. If you're an Everton player, this isn't fun. This really isn't fun. It's just you've got to have the mentality of what it's going to be, but it's not enjoyable.
They knew what they were getting themselves into today, potentially, though, didn't they? They suspected.
I think they knew once Dyche came through the door.
Yeah. Calvert-Lewin keeping the ball in play well on the right-hand side. Exeter lead Barnsley by 1-0 in League One. Josh McGuinness with the goal for the Grecians, and in the National League, Barnet hosting bottom club Ebbsfleet, and they lead through Nicky Kabamba. And St Johnstone 0, St Mirren 1 in the Scottish Prem. Killian Phillips for the Buddies. 0-0 at Emirates Stadium, where we're ticking round towards a quarter of an hour played this Saturday afternoon on Talksport 2. And the ball floated over the top, looking for Martinelli, but again the offside flag goes up, and Sean Dyche urging calm from his players. I'm not sure what he's unhappy with, because they did the offside trap quite well there to catch Saka ahead of the play.
Yeah, it was excellent from Tarkowski and Branthwaite to make sure they were absolutely bang in line with Ashley Young. So when Martinelli made that run, because that's a mismatch. If Martinelli gets the run on Young, he's away.
I think it's Mikalenko that's getting the instructions barked out to him by his manager just at the moment. Ball's with Njai, steps in field on halfway, got away from Timber but didn't get away from Declan Rice, and Arsenal have it back once again. Saka running down this right hand side with the Gunners attacking the clock end in this first half on Talksport 2. Lewis Skelly, good ball out to the left hand side to find Martinelli up against Ashley Young, level with the edge of the area, down that left hand side in front of the Everton fans. He finds Marino, darts for the dead ball line, lofts a ball into the box. It's over the head of everybody in a red and white shirt, and Iliman Njai tries to hook it clear, doesn't get the best clearance on it, but it's picked up by Mikalenko. He got as far as the halfway line, was closed down by Saka, and ends up conceding a throw to Arsenal. 16 gone, 0-0.
Oh, he almost did really well, Mikolenko, didn't he? He didn't give it up. He took a great first touch out of the sky as it bounced, and then he just couldn't quite then regain control to try and put Calvert-Lewin away.
Shrewsbury 0, Wycombe 1 in League One. The leaders ahead through Bez Lubala. They've got the best away record in the division, and Lincoln are 1-0 up at Huddersfield in the same division. Ben House with the goal for the Imps at the John Smiths. Here at the Emirates, 16 and a half minutes gone on Talksport 2. Arsenal 0, Everton 0, but it's all Arsenal. And here's Odegaard finding Saka on the right hand side. I say all Arsenal, but they've yet to force Pickford into a save. Maybe he'll have something to do here. Rice playing the ball into the area. Saka round one man, tried to get the shot in, blocked by Tarkowski, who went to ground inside the box and did superbly. And then a slip by an Everton player. I think it was Harrison on the far side. You heard the way around us. Means that Arsenal have it back as Ipswich go 1-0 up at Molineux. A Matt Doherty own goal makes it Wolves 0, Ipswich 1. Right hand side for Arsenal. Saka looks to release Havertz down the right hand side, and a corner's being claimed, and it did come off Jared Branthwaite last of all, and it's a corner kick to Arsenal. There's also a red card for a Liverpool player at Anfield, so not only are they a goal down, they are a man down. And it's Andy Robertson that's been dismissed for Liverpool. So,
well, just going back to that Saka chance, that's what he does. He just lends it inside, and then he just drifts and weaves his way through, waiting for that pass to go through the middle. And in the end, he just checked past Branthwaite, and Tarkowski made sure he was across. That's what you have to do. As he goes past the first man and the second man, you've got to have a third and a fourth.
Well, those Arsenal players massing at the far post on the far side of the field from us as Saka prepares this left-footed in-swinging corner at the clock end. Odegaard's there for a short corner routine should he wish to use him. Now the Arsenal players make the run. Now they've got to stop because the corner hasn't been delivered, and they have to go back into their original position. Now they trot across again. Saka delivers the corner kick, headed out strongly by Branthwaite. Idrissa Gueye was giving chase, but he was never going to beat Declan Rice to the ball. Lewis Skelly finds Odegaard, and it's with Arsenal again. 18 and a half gone, 0-0. Saka right hand side up against the challenge of Mikolenko, who put his foot in, and it's brought away by Gueye. But Saka, what a challenge to get back and win possession once again for his team, just when Idrissa Gueye thought he was breaking clear up to halfway. 0-0.
Excellent work rate, isn't it, from Saka? But Idrissa Gueye's just got to get his head up there and just play it down the line for Calvert-Lewin. He made a really good arcing run to the inside of Saliba. Just play it to him.
Ashley Young's just robbed the ball off Martinelli down the Everton right, plays it up to Calvert-Lewin, but his second touch was really heavy, and that allowed Miles Lewis Skelly to tidy up. Swansea 2, Sunderland 0 now in the Championship. Liam Cullum with a second for the Swans. Oxford, no winning 5 in the Championship, leads Sheffield Wednesday by a goal to 0. Greg Lee. Stoke 1, Cardiff 0. Andrew Moran. And it's still 0-0 here at the Emirates Stadium on Talksport 2 as we edge round towards 20 minutes played. York, the leaders of the National League, are a goal at Tamworth. Ollie Pearce. Sheffield United lead Plymouth Argyle. We're going to go back to the top of the Championship table after Leeds' point earlier. Gustavo Harmer with the goal for the Blades at Bramall Lane. Arsenal coming forward at 0-0. Lewis Skelly, almost in the centre of the Everton half, just lays it off to his left and behind him for Gabriel. Out it goes to the left-hand side, and Martinelli just nicks it infield to Havertz, gives it back to Martinelli, strokes it back infield to Declan Rice. Nobody in a central position for Arsenal at the moment, although Havertz is drifting back into that area now. Arsenal have passed back all the way to the halfway line. Saliba finds Timber out to the right wing, and once again it's Saka looking to go at Mikolenko. Has he been pulled back there? No, says the referee. Yes, he does in the end. Well, he made his mind up after a couple of seconds, and Sean Dyche and Ian Wone are looking at the fourth official and saying, well, why did he take that long to make his mind up? Who made his mind up? Anyway, free kick to Arsenal, that's what matters.
Yeah, it is, but Sean Dyche is so annoyed because just previously Njai was pulled back slightly by Timber, nothing given. And exactly the same situation there with Saka. Referee gives nothing, but then the assistant delayed, and then waved his flag to say that it was a free kick. Those sorts of things, of course, are going to annoy you as staff.
Andrew Kitchen is the fourth official getting it from certainly the right-hand technical area as we look. Mikel Arteta looks on with his stylish coat, dressed all in black as usual. Mikel Arteta. Sean Dyche very much the tracksuit manager this afternoon. So Odegaard with his free kick for Arsenal at 0-0 as we approach the midway point of the first half. It's near the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Everton holding their line just ahead of the penalty spot. One or two just bouncing up and down on their tiptoes to make sure that they're ready for the delivery when it comes from Odegaard. It'll be left-footed, swung, trying to get it in between the defenders and goalkeeper. In it comes from Odegaard. Bounces in front of goal and it's headed behind by Tarkowski. Got his head on there first and put it behind for a gunner's corner. 0-0.
Yeah, dangerous delivery from Odegaard right into the area that you want, where the goalkeeper doesn't want to come and you defenders have to deal with it. But again, slightly clever from Arsenal players. They come from that offside position and then they run in towards you as a defender, bump into you to get themselves onside and then force their way back in. Again, that's probably something you've got to be on to the officials about, to say, well, if that happens and they score, surely that is a foul.
Once again, that clutch of Arsenal players deep beyond the far post as Saka spots down this corner kick where the clock end,
massive gap at the edge of the
West
box.
Stand. There is, where Declan Rice is standing unopposed. In it comes from Saka though to the near post, cleared by the first defender, Mikalenko, but Odegaard heads it back out to Saka. Right wing, flag stays down. Saka rolls it back to Lewis Skelly, 30 yards out. He gives it back to the right wing and Saka checks onto his left, but the cross is deflected and Harrison hooks it half clear for Everton. But it's won back by Arsenal and given back to Raya. I think that could be one of Raya's first touches this afternoon. Midway through the first half. 0-0 on Talksport 2. Wrexham 0, Cambridge 1. Elias Kachunga for Cambridge in League One, who've lost 3 of their last 4, the U's. Stevenage 1, Stockport 0 in the same division. Dan Kemp for Borough. Here come Arsenal again down the right-hand side with Bukayo Saka. Timber on the overlap should he wish to use him. Doesn't. Goes infield instead via Havertz to Lewis Skelly, 30 yards out. Rolls it across to Gabriel. Back again for Lewis Skelly. Up to the edge of the area along the deck for Odegaard. Everton try and win it back, and then Marino robs Harrison of the ball. Inside left channel. Turns away from Oro Mangala. Plays it infield to Odegaard. Odegaard plays a short 1-2 with Gabriel. Gets to the left-hand corner of the penalty area, Odegaard. Gives it back out to the left-hand side for Marino. But there's no room for him to cross, it seems, so it's rolled back in field and across to Declan Rice. And he looks for Havertz, who's now peeled away to the right-hand side. Saka gone a bit further in field this time. Rice picks it up again for Arsenal. Pass across to Gabriel. And now across to the left-hand side where Gabriel Martinelli's up against Harrison once more. Plays it into the area but telegraphed it somewhat. Easy for Tarkowski to clear, and a rare chance for Calvert-Lewin to try and hold the ball up just inside his own half, and he's done well. Nicked it infield to Oro Mangala, and Njai's pushing through the middle, just gets it over the halfway line, tries to twist and turn away from Declan Rice. Keeping possession, Iliman Njai. And for the first time in a long time, Everton had the ball in the Arsenal half, or at least they did.
Outstanding.
They go back to Branthwaite.
Outstanding centre-forward play from Calvert-Lewin. He's up against 2 and then 3. He still manages to find a way to get hold of it, manoeuvre the ball, and then pop it into midfield so they can attack. Sean Dyche wanted the free kick rather than allowing the play to carry on.
And that's all about set pieces, yeah. Arsenal scored 9 goals from set pieces. Everton have scored 8. They're the 2 best in the division at it. 0-0 on Talksport 2. Peterborough 2-0 up on Crawley. Ricky J. Jones got the first. Kean Hayes got the second for the Posh at London Road. So Liverpool a goal down and a man down at Anfield. And Wolves are a goal down at home to Ipswich through an own goal. No goals at St James Park between Newcastle United and Leicester City. 0-0 here, 25 minutes gone. Loads of live sport to come across the Talksport network. We've got 2 Premier League games for you tomorrow night. Southampton against Tottenham on Talksport, 7 o'clock kickoff. I'll be there with Scott Minto at St Mary's. Chelsea Brentford meantime, same time, kickoff on Talksport 2 with Joe Shannon and Stuart Pearce. And we've got some championship action before that tomorrow afternoon for you from Carrow Road. Norwich will be taking on Burnley That's a 3 o'clock kickoff here. Lincoln have scored a second at Huddersfield Town. Bailey Cadamartri, son of Danny, has got the second for Lincoln. And Chesterfield lead by a 0-0 at Carlisle. Former Spurs youngster Dylan Markande with the goal for the Spyrites. Everton lob the ball downfield, asking Calvert-Lewin to game to give chase, but there's no way he's going to get to the ball before William Saliba. Saliba will find Lewis Skelly on the left-hand side. He forces Harrison to put it out of play for a throw. Dean Ashton.
You've got to be impressed. You have to be impressed with the way Everton do defend at times. And to not have allowed Arsenal to have a single shot that Pickford has to deal with so far, 26, nearly 27 minutes in, it is impressive with how much Arsenal have had the ball.
81% possession for Arsenal as Saka comes forward, right hand side, clips it into the area, looking for Odegaard to turn it back across the face of goal. Blocked behind, there's Everton legs there to turn it behind for another Arsenal corner at 0-0.
Lovely combination, great reverse pass from Bukayo Saka. Faked as if he was going to cross it and then just reversed it into Odegaard, who'd made the run, but there was Branthwaite, and that so far is what Everton have done so well. Every time it's looked like there's been an opening, a blue shirt has stepped across.
Once again, the Arsenal players go beyond the far post to mass together as Saka prepares the corner kick. Down to our right-hand side at the clock end. 27 minutes gone, 0-0. Now 1 or 2 Arsenal players walk away from that clutch at the far post and stand around the penalty spot. In it comes from Saka to the far post. Pickford gets flapped at it and he got it half clear. Everton can't get it out the box. It's gone to the left-hand side of Martinelli, whips it back in right-footed, but that's a more comfortable catch for Jordan Pickford on this occasion, and he will slow the game down just a tad. 0-0 the score on Talksport 2.
Yeah, he just delayed, didn't he, on that first delivery that came over, and you're right, just tried to pat it away. Not very well, and then did really well, had a shout, Branthwaite, just to leave it from Pickford. I'd be amazed if they don't use the edge of the box, Arsenal, from one of these corners, because every single Everton player is almost in the 6-yard box. So there's all that space for Rice to just walk into.
Goals elsewhere, it's 0-0 here. AFC Wimbledon 1, Doncaster 0. Matty Stevens for the Dons. Stockport have equalised at Stevenage, that's 1-1. Callum Camps. Bradford lead Swindon by a goal to 0 in League 2, Callum Kavanagh. And back in League 1, Blackpool are 1 up at Reading. Albie Morgan for the Seasiders. Here is Havertz for Arsenal, trying to play in Saka, in behind Mikalenko. Great run, he's got past Branthwaite, pulls it back. Odegaard! What a save from Jordan Pickford. How on earth did that stay out? It looked for all the world that Odegaard was going to fire Arsenal in front. Pickford flung himself to his right, got something on it. What a save to keep it goalless.
Quality from Arsenal though. Havertz with the reverse outside of the foot past Saka, drifts past Mikalenko and Branthwaite back in towards Odegaard. It takes a tiny deflection first of all off Harrison, takes a little bit of the sting off it, but then Jordan Pickford is there just to react enough to somehow flick it over with his stomach. I think he uses in the end, maybe his knee.
So a corner kick in front of the Everton fans. So another in-swinger, this time from the right boot of Declan Rice. Again, that 6-yard box only populated by Everton shirts. In come the Arsenal players as Rice swings it in. Pickford came nowhere near it. Saliba tried to profit at the far post, but Everton were able to smuggle it clear. Hooked back towards the Everton area and then headed back towards Pickford, who was put under pressure by Havertz. Tarkowski heads it into the box and Calvert-Lewin strokes it away. Well, the Everton defence were at 6s and 7s there, but Arsenal couldn't profit. But that's got the noise levels up in here.
Yeah, it has. It was a strange decision from Tarkowski to head it back towards his goalkeeper up in the air rather than just head it away into the midfield area. And then Pickford came out almost with a volleyball type manoeuvre.
Yeah.
And just he whacked the ball and whacked Havertz's shoulder at the same time.
Ashley Young heads it out of play. It's currently Arsenal 0, Everton 0 for the latest odds. Why not head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can back Arsenal to win at 7-2 on, back Everton to win at 9-1 against, or back the draw at 4-1. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
What's your volleyball knowledge like after the Olympics?
I didn't cover the volleyball.
I couldn't quite think of what it's called.
Ask me about rowing and I'm in. But no, volleyball, I'm struggling, I'm afraid. Actually, if you ask me about rowing now, it's like when you do French at school and then 2 years later you go to France, it's all gone. It's gone out your head. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Everton on a rare foray forward. Calvert-Lewin down the right-hand side forces Saliba to slide in and put it out for a throw. Newcastle 1, Leicester 0. Jacob Murphy has put the Magpies in front. Barnet 3-0 up on bottom side Ebbsfleet in the National League. Walsall, the leaders of League 2, are 1-0 up against Barrow. Taylor Allen. Sunderland have got a goal back at Swansea. That's 2-1 to Swansea now. Dan Ballard. Wrexham equalise at home to Cambridge, 1-1 James McLean. And Sheffield Wednesday equalise at Oxford. That's 1-1 as well, Josh Windass. Goals flying in all round the country this afternoon. We'll keep you updated here. We've played 31 minutes at Emirates Stadium. Still 0-0. 79% possession for Arsenal. It's been around about that mark right the way through the game so far, Dean Ashton.
It has, and they've defended incredibly well. It's about Arsenal being patient, but with still playing with real intensity. They can't let it drop at all and slow things down too often. Got to try and keep the tempo because, as the game goes on.
Well, they've just won the ball back. Doucouré has been presented with the ball by Ndiaye. Gives it back to Ndiaye down the left-hand side at the left-hand corner of the box. Looking to take on the defender Timber. Look for Doucouré down the left-hand side of the box. But such a casual and cultured interception from William Saliba. And Arsenal get the ball clear. Havertz heads it on, looking for Saka towards halfway. But Branthwaite gets there first. And Ndiaye trying to keep it in on this near touchline. But it goes out for a throw. And Everton start to drop players back into their own half. I heard Perry Groves on the weekend sports breakfast this morning on Talksport with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino, saying he thought Everton would defend deeper than a Polaris submarine. He's not been far wrong so far, has he?
No, once Arsenal get into Everton's half, they go really deep. But when the centre-backs have it, they're keeping a reasonably high line, actually.
Arsenal coming forward, but Saka won't win the ball down the right-hand side. Odegaard will get it to him, though. Great tenacious work from Martin Odegaard. Didn't give that up. Timber for Arsenal. Centre of the Everton half. Plays it out to the right-hand side, and Saka, who's got Ndiaye and Mykolenko facing him. Left-footed curling ball in straight onto the forehead of Branthwaite, who heads it back from whence it came and out of play for a throw. Cardiff equalise at Stoke. That's 1-1. Anwar El Ghazi wants a Villa. And Blackburn, what a run they're on. 5 straight wins, and they lead Luton by 1-0. Oh, sorry, Faye. Forgot about that. Amario Kozia-Dubry with the goal for Rovers at Ewood Park.
She doesn't believe you.
That's like Perry. As soon as I hear that Colchester have gone behind, he goes offside. Every time. Rice for Arsenal. 12 minutes to half-time. A rare, poor pass from Declan Rice straight into the path of Mykolenko. And then Ndiaye slides it up to Calvert-Lewin. Again, good hold-up play from Calvert-Lewin. Meanwhile, Idrissa Gueye down on the deck right in front of us. Got caught off the ball by Jurrien Timber, who looks hurt as well. But play's just going to be suspended for a moment whilst the referee goes to check on the condition of the Everton midfielder. 11 to half-time, it's 0-0, Dean Ashton.
That is what they've got to try and do, though, is when they, just rather than whacking it forwards for Calvert-Lewin up against Saliba and Gabriel, have the confidence to play into your midfield plays. They should be good enough at times to keep the ball, and it was Idrissa Gueye that played a lovely pass in towards Calvert-Lewin, and as he did to run the opposite side, he just got clattered into by Timber.
Well, you're listening to Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. Goals going in elsewhere. Johnson Clark Harris has his and Rotherham's second in League 1. They're 2-0 up on Northampton Town. Cheltenham in League 2 lead Morecambe by 1-0. That's Arkell Jude Boyd with the opener for the Robins at Wadden Road. And Gay back on his feet, didn't need any treatment, and so Pickford is going to take the free kick for Everton, and it's only 7 or 8 yards short of the halfway line, down to this left-hand side near our commentary position. Pickford to strike it left-footed, diagonally, looking for someone to get his head in it, right-hand corner of the box. And the offside flag goes up against Tarkowski, who is the target for that free kick, and he gives Jordan Pickford a volley. Free kick Arsenal, 10 to the break, 0-0.
I think he was talking to the referee there. I think nowadays you can't really jostle for a header anymore. You can't. It's not down to just who's physically stronger. As soon as it looks like you've got your arm across or over, they just give a free kick now. Dean
Ashton, member of the Strikers Union. on Talksport 2 this afternoon, making his feelings abundantly clear. The game's gone, effectively.
Well, my game would have been gone.
Motherwell 2, Dundee United 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Andy Halliday for the Mothers. 0-0 here, and we've got 9 minutes to half-time. The possession stats still heavily in favour of Arsenal. But we've only had that one shot on target from Martin Odegaard, blocked by Jordan Pickford, and the Odegaard shot that was dragged just wide of Pickford's left-hand post. That's as close as we've come. Calvert-Lewin giving chase for another ball lofted down the right-hand side, but Arsenal win it back, and good skill from Miles Lewis-Skelly. Odegaard turns and fires it downfield immediately, looking for the run of Havertz. Idea was right on the turn from Martin Odegaard, but it hit it too firm and too straight, back in the arms of the keeper. 0-0.
I mean, look, it would have been a peach of a pass if he'd have got it through, because he was, as he was turning, he was then having to almost hit it first time outside of the left foot in towards Kai Havertz. But that high line is there for Arsenal to use if they can get it right.
But it remains 0-0 on Talksport 2. Rice now drilling the ball out to Bukayo Saka, just hit too firmly for him, but Saka appreciates the pace on that pass and the directness of it from his teammate for both club and country. Barnet 4-0 up on bottom side Ebbsfleet in the National League. Now Ryan Glover with the fourth. Falkirk back in front of Ayr United in the Scottish Championship. So a throw to Everton, who lost their opening 4 Premier League games, you might remember, then went 5 unbeaten. Only lost 2 of 10 since their defeat against Aston Villa. Birmingham City 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Jay Stansfield with the second for Birmingham.
It's looking like a snip.
Yeah, yeah. Come on, say it. Adrian Durham normally says at this point, you bought the league. And I just have to go, yep. Because I've got no argument, have I, really? Throw into Everton. Another team in royal blue on the left-hand side, just next to where Mikel Arteta stood at the edge of his technical area. Mikolenko gets it back from Idrissa Gueye, rolls it back into his own half for Branthwaite, steps away from Havertz, then it's tipped back from Gueye, looking for Mikolenko on this near side, but it went over the touchline for an Arsenal throw. Now you can sense it, can't you, Dean Ashton?
Yes,
There's just a little bit of consternation around us in the stands that Arsenal are not in front. It's not that they haven't played well, it's that Everton have been so diffident at the back, it's starting to get frustrating.
Yeah, of course. And they've seen this happen quite a few times here at the Emirates. They tend to get through it, but it can be tough when you know you're the better side and got better players, but the opposition are just nullifying that as best as they can, being very defensive. And from an Everton perspective, these are actually the tricky moments where the intensity's dropped from Arsenal, you feel like you're over the worst of it, and you're gaining in confidence yourself, and then all of a sudden you maybe just open yourselves up and Arsenal can score. So it's about concentration still for Everton.
That's Dean Ashton alongside me, Ian Danter, here at Emirates Stadium. Loads of live football to come, loads of live darts to come. Our coverage of the PDC World Championship gets underway with reports on the opening night tomorrow here on Talksport, and then full live commentary picks up from Monday on Talksport 2, in amongst our coverage of the live cricket. New Zealand 315 for 9 after day 1 of the third test overnight, and day 2 will get underway tonight on Talksport 2 with Steve Harmison, John Norman, Neil Manthorpe and the team. So much live sport. Here is Everton at the edge of their own penalty area, and Tarkowski was set upon by Gabriel Martinelli, but on the turn he actually hit it against the chest of the Arsenal forward and it went behind for a goal kick. Elsewhere, Blackpool 2-0 up on Reading. Rob Apter with the second for Blackpool. Peterborough 2, Crawley 1 as well in League 1. Adi Adeyemo gets a goal back for the Sussex side. Goal kick to Everton, and I guess, I don't know, do managers still take games in 5-10 minute chunks when they're trying to get to half time and they're looking to plan the game in those little...
Yeah, I think it's just a nice mental check for players, those moments. But you know, Jordan Pickford there just looking to play out from the back when he didn't need to.
But Everton do have it inside the Arsenal half, and Jai floats it out to the right hand side. Jack Harrison not had much change out of Lewis-Skelly so far down that Everton right, but he's going for the byline now, and in slides Lewis-Skelly. Good challenge. Throw in Everton. He looks very adept in this Arsenal side for a man so young.
Yeah, he does. He does. I mean, I'm sure Everton will have looked at that and wanted more ball over towards Harrison to try and isolate him 1v1 and really test him. They haven't been able to.
Harrison whip it in left-footed, headed out by Rice from the edge of his own penalty area. Where's that going to drop? For Havertz, just shy of the centre circle, but in slides Idrissa Gueye. But Everton can't pick up the second ball. Arsenal move it over halfway. It's Timber on this near side, the right. He's got Havertz on the overlap, goes infield to Saka. Saka tried to find Havertz, and it will eventually ricochet its way out to the German. And now Timber comes infield, finds Rice 30 yards out. Ball running across his body right to left. Leaves it for Lewis Skelly, back for Rice again. And he plays a square ball to his right for Timber. Odegaard now picks it up, approaching the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Gets back on his left foot, floats it to the far post, and a comfortable claim for Jordan Pickford as Blackburn go 2-0 up on Luton Town. Owen Beck with the second for John Eustace's side as Everton bring the ball up to halfway. We've got 3 minutes of normal time left in this first half on Talksport 2. It is still Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on Game Day exclusive. Doucouré out to Harrison on the far right-hand side of the field from us, but he won't take on the Arsenal fullback this time. It's gone back to Idrissa Gueye inside the centre circle. He trots into the Arsenal half, plays a 1-2 with Mangala, but then gives it back to Doucouré, who's playing a little deeper than you would normally see him when Everton are at home at Goodison Park. He's normally the closest player to Calvert-Lewin most of the time. Oh, that's a poor pass from Branthwaite, picked off by Rice. Fired forward for Kai Havertz, trying to isolate Tarkowski. Rolls it to the left-hand side of the area. Martinelli takes it on. Good shot, good save by Pickford. Comes out to Martinelli again, down the left-hand side of the box. Rolling his foot in it a couple of times. Marino out there with him. Back in field it goes to Declan Rice, urged to shoot. Goes for goal from 30 yards out, blocked almost right in front of where the shot was taken by Doucouré. Throw in, 0-0.
But that all came from the overconfidence of Everton trying to play, and Branthwaite into midfield gets it wrong. Rice sets Havertz away. And Martinelli does well, but the angle was a little bit tight and made the save a little easier for Jordan Pickford.
Odegaard dispossessed by the hard-working Iliman Ndiaye, who's gone for a return, gets it on the halfway line, tries to turn inside Declan Rice. Calvert-Lewin ahead of him. Good first touch from the Everton number 9, and he drifts away down the left-hand side. Not many in the box for him. He'd want to be in the box waiting for a cross rather than delivering one, Calvert-Lewin, but it's worked in field to Oro Mangala. Across to Tarkowski, 25 yards inside Arsenal territory. Out to Ashley Young on the right. Early ball from Ashley Young, headed away by Gabriel, but only to the corner of the area. It's left by Garner Gay for Harrison. Harrison with a cross that's far too deep, goes out on the full for a goal kick to Arsenal. And the seconds are ticking away, and Arsenal want to get on with it, as they should. It's 0-0.
No, and they've got to make better of those situations. The Everton attack Harrison with a really poor cross in the end when you've got players in the box to find. And it's been their best spell, Everton, the last 5 minutes.
That's Dean Ashton, you can hear alongside me. Ian Danter here at Emirates Stadium. Faker Others is with us here too. You'll hear from Faye at half-time with a full classified check. Arsenal coming forward, down the left-hand side with Gabriel Martinelli. Down towards the dead ball line. He's got two Everton players around him, Young and Tarkowski. And between those two, they take it off Martinelli. But the ball was already out of play for an Arsenal throw, as the assistant has indicated over on that far side on the halfway line. Motherwell 3, Dundee United 1 in the Scottish Premiership. And eventually the throw-in's given Everton's way, it would appear. I don't know what's happened there, because the assistant clearly flagged for an Arsenal throw. Oh, it was a foul throw, was it?
Foul throw.
Well, that's Miles Lewis Skelly. That's inexperience for you. This is where we're supposed to, inexperience of youth.
Problem is he's not 12.
No. Do Arsenal have a throw-in coach? 1 minute of minimum stoppage time that we're into now at the end of this first half on Talksport 2, Game Day exclusive. And Everton, as you might expect, are taking their time over getting this ball back into play. Can they see this game out to half-time, and then Sean Dyche and Ian Woan and his team can just reset and reform for the start of the second half? Been interesting half-time team talk from both managers if the score stays like this. Jack Harrison down the right-hand side of the Arsenal penalty area, wins a throw off Gabriel. One last chance maybe for Everton to create something in this first half with 20 seconds of the minimum stoppage time to play. And Ashley Young's going to take the throw and just casually trots over to where the ball is. This will be surely the last action of the first half if Craig Pawson allows it. Ashley Young. Is he going to go long into the area? No, he goes down to the corner flag for Jack Harrison. And there goes the half-time whistle. And around us, well, you can hear around us, it's not wild applause, it's not booing. It's just acceptance maybe from Arsenal fans that this is what they thought was going to happen this afternoon. And Everton are being as strong and tough and aggressive at the back as you might expect of a side who are desperate to keep their heads above water in the Premier League. Arsenal have gone close. Martin Odegaard with a left-footed shot that deflected and was saved by the stomach of Jordan Pickford not long after Odegaard had dragged a left-footed shot wide. But earlier in the half, Everton, who've had very little possession inside the Arsenal half, had a great chance when Abdoulaye Doucouré was sent away down the left-hand side of the area. Took too long to measure up the shot, and by the time he'd taken the shot, it was deflected behind for a corner that came to nothing. 74% possession for Arsenal in the first half, but no goals. I think that says quite a lot. At the break, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Yeah, it certainly does. Difficult one to analyse, but I think that Sean Dyche is probably going to be the manager that's gone in at half-time the happier, despite what we saw in the technical area where he looked pretty furious for a majority of the game. But actually, his side have defended in parts really well.
Very well. That 4 and then 5 in front. I think Harrison and Jai have been excellent in their support of the two fullbacks because it's needed. Martinelli and Saka are incredibly difficult to deal with, and they've done extremely well in terms of doubling up on those players. And then when the balls come into the box, they've had enough numbers to cover when Arsenal look like they might get through and create something. He's more annoyed at the officials, is Sean Dyche. He just feels like there's been a couple of times where they haven't got the free kicks they probably deserve, and it means there's more pressure on his side. He'll be absolutely delighted with that first half to only have given Arsenal 7 shots and 2 on target. I think he'll be really pleased, and he'll say to his side, we've had the chance, we've had the best chance in the game to have gone 1-0 ahead, and that's the levels, and that's why Everton have struggled so much. They've struggled to score goals. Yeah,
Jordan Pickford on his way down the tunnel went straight over to referee Craig Pawson to have a bit of a chat with him as well. And you mentioned that chance for Everton, Abdoulaye Doucouré. I mean, it was brilliant industry from Mangala in the middle of the park, winning the ball in the first place, running through the middle, defence-splitting pass as well, which was fantastic. And then Abdoulaye Doucouré just took an age with it. I mean, just either dink it over for someone running in on goal or try and score yourself, and it took so long that the defender had a chance to come back and recover.
It's such a great chance, you're right. The space opened up for him, and I think his first initial thought was, shall I try and get this onto my right foot, his favoured right foot, to strike? In the end, he decided not to. By the time he'd done that, and then he lined up the shot like he just was not comfortable with his left foot. And again, by the time you do that, athletic defenders get across and make the block. It was just such a great opening for Everton, and what a start that would have been. But it was the story of their season, really. So many of their players have just failed to look like they're going to score when those chances come along.
Yeah, and they have looked vulnerable on the right-hand side in particular. We know how brilliant Bukayo Saka is. We talked about it leading into the game. He's had a few opportunities, and I feel against a weak Mykolenko, actually, who looks there for the taking. You mentioned Ndiaye as having to support him quite a lot. He's slipped a couple of times, but they're just not able to capitalise Arsenal at the moment.
No, and because Odegaard goes over to that side as well, it's so difficult then to keep your eye just on one of them. And Mykolenko, you're right, is absolutely needing that support from Ndiaye, and Idrissa Gueye and Doucouré need to come across as well. And then when they get past him, Branthwaite steps across well, and Tarkowski. So I think they're doing as well as they can do, but ultimately against these top players, you're going to expect that they're going to get through at some point. You're then hoping your defender or goalkeeper helps you out.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be told, no doubt, at half-time by their boss, Mikel Arteta, that Liverpool are trailing Fulham by 1-0 at home, and they're playing the majority of the match with 10 men after Andy Robertson was sent off after 17 minutes. I was going through the stats in that game as well. 3 yellow cards have been brandished inside the opening 10 minutes, so it feels a little bit feisty up at Anfield, but Fulham have the lead at half-time. I'll bring you the rest of the half-time scores very shortly, but let's look ahead to tonight's Premier League action first with Sky Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract, on now. Like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Good afternoon, Jeff Peters, how are you?
Good afternoon, Faye Carruthers. I'm very well, thank you. It's extra layers of clothing on at this time of year and a little heater as well. So, and you know what? I'm looking forward to what I think could well be a cracking game of football. Forest and Villa, two sides at the right end of the table. I think got plenty of confidence. This could be an absolute cracker today.
It really could. Heating's cheating, by the way. You've worked in football long enough.
Yeah, I know.
You should know that. It's all about the numb feet, that's what I think. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it as well. I was at Villa Park last weekend for their 1-0 win over Southampton, but Forest are having such a fantastic season. We went there a couple of weeks ago on Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2 for their 1-0 win over Ipswich. Nuno seems to be getting absolutely everything he can out of this side. Internally, I'm wondering, they have said it's step by step and it's a building process and they're not getting too far ahead of themselves, but do you reckon secretly they think they can actually achieve European football this season?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any question about that. I think there's a confidence around the place that they believe that they can finish in one of those positions that is going to get them into Europe next season. Why not? Why can't Forest be one of those teams? Listen, there's a number around them, the likes of Villa and Brighton. Obviously, Bournemouth are having a good season. Brentford, Fulham are above them as we speak at the moment with that leading at Anfield. So I think it's going to be extremely competitive. And I think if you're, Forest have had a long time out of the big league and out of the, out of playing on the continent when, of course, they had, a great deal of success, admittedly a long time ago, but I think Forest have got every chance. And I think internally they'll be saying, OK, listen, season on season, we're going to be looking at progress, but the way that they've started the campaign, 25 points from 15 games, absolutely no reason why they can't be in the shake-up come the end of the season for Europe.
Yeah, I agree, and especially with Chris Wood in the form that he's in. 10 goals that he's scored in the Premier League this season. First name on the team sheet for Nottingham Forest, and Ollie Watkins always used to be the first name on the team sheet for Aston Villa. Not so anymore. John Duran started up front last week. How close is he to kind of usurping Watkins as number one, or is it just a case that they've got European football so they need the both of them?
It's interesting just on Chris Wood, how he's really developed under Nuno. When he came in, I think Forest fans were a bit unsure, but he scored 21 in 31 in the Premier League under Nuno. It's incredible. He's scored, I think, more than half of Forest's league goals this season. But in terms of Villa, Watkins hasn't hit the heights that you would have been expecting from him. And yet John Duran, I think he's only started about 4 games this season, 5, not many across all the various competitions. Yet he's in double figures. He is in outstanding form. It wouldn't surprise me if he started today. Obviously started in the game against Southampton in the week. It was Watkins who started against Leipzig on Tuesday, and then Duran came off the bench and he scored. Of course he did. He comes off the bench and he scores. He is looking a real talent, John Duran. And listen, what a great problem to have. You've got Ollie Watkins, who I think is an excellent striker, probably just having a little bit of dip. But you've got Duran to come in and he's scoring the goals. So for Unai Emery, it's a perfect situation.
Yep, certainly is. Thank you, Jeff. Enjoy the game. Should be a cracker. That was a look ahead to this afternoon's Premier League action with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, just like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa live today. Just search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
This is Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2. Second half of Arsenal against Everton coming next, plus we'll bring you the other half-time scores from across the Premier League and the EFL.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the English Football League. Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Sack the gaffer. You need thesun.co.uk. Bagged a big move? Check out thesun.co.uk.
Oh, come on, Ralph!
Never a pen? Read thesun.co.uk. Seen red? See thesun.co.uk. Whatever's going on in the game, whenever you want it, wherever you are, from goals to gossip and everything football, it's got to be thesun.co.uk.
You don't just check in to a village hotel, you work out, you jump in, you play on, you tuck in, and drink up. Village Hotels, 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities, and a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers, and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet, and play.
Hey, is your Aunt June still coming to Christmas dinner?
Yep, and her new boyfriend.
I'll get the extra chair.
And his daughter.
Oh, and some plates.
Plus her boyfriend. And his two mates, their girlfriends, their neighbours, their second cousins, twin sisters, the mailman, Glenn from down the road, his primary school teacher, my personal trainer, his dog, his accountant Bill, and that lady I met on the bus.
We're going to need to go to IKEA.
From extra plates to bedding and everything in between, get guests ready.
Oh, and Grandma's staying over.
IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
$1.39 at McDonald's gets you a delicious cheeseburger. $1.39 at a concert gets you... Testing. McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Price varies on delivery, subject to availability.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less faffing and more fixing. Less driving, more drilling. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now. Like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus through via internet. Terms apply.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
This is Game Day.
Half-time classifieds.
This is Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2. I'm Faye Carruthers. Let's take a classified check on the half-time scores, starting with Arsenal 0, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, Fulham 1, Newcastle 1, Leicester 0, Wolves 0, Ipswich 1.
Skybet Championship.
Blackburn 2, Luton 0, Middlesbrough 1, Millwall 0, Oxford United 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sheffield United 1, Plymouth 0, Stoke 1, Cardiff 1, Swansea 2, Sunderland 1.
Skybet League 1.
Birmingham 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Charlton 0, Mansfield 0, Exeter 1, Barnsley 0, Huddersfield 0, Lincoln 2, Peterborough 2, Crawley 1, Reading 0, Blackpool 2, Rotherham 2, Northampton 0, Shrewsbury 0, Wycombe 2, Stevenage 1, Stockport 1, Wrexham 1, Cambridge United 1.
Skybet League 2.
AFC Wimbledon 1, Doncaster 0, Bradford City 1, Swindon 0, Bromley 0, Port Vale 0, Carlisle 0, Chesterfield 1, Cheltenham 1, Morecambe 0, Colchester 0, Newport 0, Grimsby 0, Crewe 0, MK Dons 0, Gillingham 0, and Walsall 1, Barrow 0. Well, the Arsenal players are out a good minute before the Everton players, who are still talking to referee Craig Pawson in the tunnel at the moment. James Tarkowski having a big inquest with the referee. We knew that they were unhappy with some of the decisions in the first half, but there was nothing particularly contentious, I didn't think, Dean Ashton.
No, I don't think so. It was more just the little fouls that would allow his team to get out of their own half. That I think is important in these games when you're up against it and you need to relieve pressure. I think that's the big issue for Sean Dyche.
Well, inquest is over. All smiles again, all friends again. That's for sure. Arsenal 0, Everton 0 at the break. The Gunners looking to capitalise and close the gap on leaders Liverpool, who are a goal down and a man down at Anfield against Fulham. Sit back and enjoy second half commentary here on Talksport 2 with former Norwich, West Ham and England striker Dean Ashton and your match commentator Ian Dancer.
Thanks, Faye. Yeah, as it stands, it's a 5-point gap. It could be 3 if Arsenal can take advantage and things stay as they are. Remember, Liverpool did have Andrew Robertson sent off, so they're up against it, against an informed Fulham side. Everton, for their part, prior to that 4-0 win against Wolves, they'd scored just 5 goals in 8 matches, and they are struggling to get the ball into the danger area here this afternoon at Emirates Stadium. There are no changes from either manager at the break. Arsenal get us back underway in their red and white, and they're going to be heading for the North Bank in this second half, away to our left-hand side. Everton in all blue will be attacking the clock end, and in that corner of the clock end is where the Everton faithful have travelled down from Merseyside. Perhaps more in hope than expectation, but it is 0-0. We're into that first minute of the second half. Saka down the left-hand side of the box, but it's cleared away for Everton and out of play for a throw. So Arsenal have Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Odegaard, Marino and Rice, Saka, Havertz and Martinelli. For Everton, Pickford in goal, Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikolenko, Njai, Gay, Mangala, Harrison and Doucouré, and then Calvert-Lewin. Ball on the right-hand side for Arsenal. Timber lays it back into midfield for Rice. Back out to the right-hand side. Odegaard floats the ball in left-footed. Up went Marino. Drops at the far post for Saka, and it's somehow gone wide. I think Pickford got something on that. And it's a save that's turned behind for an early Arsenal corner in this second half. 0-0.
Yeah, terrific save from Jordan Pickford down to his left-hand side of the near post. Marino makes a nuisance of himself. It falls for Saka on the volley. And he goes near post, firm and low, and Pickford does really well just to get that left-hand dart down and make sure he palms it away.
What a great save.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Hit low on the half volley from Saka, guiding it towards the bottom corner. Saka will have the corner at the North Bank end. Left-footed in swinger. Again, players are going to run across from the far post, across the line of the Everton defenders. In it comes from Saka, heading towards goal, straight at the goalkeeper. And it was Marino, I think, who had the final effort, and it was held by Jordan Pickford quite comfortably in front of his goal line. 0-0.
Yeah, he's excellent in the air, Marino. He'll bring a real threat from all of the set plays, as well as when the ball is wide. Just couldn't quite direct the header away from Jordan Pickford, straight into his gloves.
Pickford smacks it left-footed downfield, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Breaks for Jack Harrison, centre of the Arsenal half. Tries to lob it into the penalty area for the run of Calvert-Lewin, but it was Lewis Skelly, the youngster there, who intercepted. Not playing in the left-back position, as we mentioned right at the start of commentary. Lewis Skelly's not playing orthodox. He's coming infield and helping out the defenders, all the midfielders, and he was there, right place, right time to intercept that lofted pass there, Dean Ashton.
Well, he needed to be, because Gabriel was just out of position, so he stepped into that role brilliantly and made sure that he spotted the pass. It's just, for Everton, it has to be perfect for it to get through, because they've only got a certain number of attackers.
Given away as Arsenal trying to send the ball out to Martinelli down the left-hand side, but it's the evergreen Ashley Young now darting down the right for Everton, looking to get the better of Martinelli. Toe pokes it into the area. Lewis Skelly is bundled over by Ashley Young as Lewis Skelly trying to protect the ball, the young 18-year-old, and he's won Arsenal a free kick. And they're getting on with it, Arsenal. Short free kick to Odegaard. Now Rice finds Timber. Peterborough 3, Crawley 1. Peterborough restore their 2-goal cushion in League One through Hector Cipriano up from midfield. Hector the Protector, they call him, apparently. 3-1 to the Posh. 0-0 here on Talksport 2 with 3.5 minutes gone in the second half. Everton have won it back inside the Arsenal half. Idrissa Gueye teases it out to the left flank for Vitaly Mikalenko. Good ball down the left-hand side of the box for Calvert-Lewin. Harrison's in the area, wanted the ball played across. Calvert-Lewin tries to fire it into that 6-yard box, but it's found Saliba, and Saliba brings the ball clear, but he's been closed down by Iliman Ndiaye, who's won it back. Finds Gueye, the edge of the area. Doucouré there as well. Goes out to the right wing, and Ashley Young. 4 Everton players waiting for a cross. Mangala goes for the byline, manages to pull the ball across, but straight into the grateful gloves of David Raya, who clears from hands downfield, but that's going to get away from Martinelli and allow Branthwaite to tidy up. Newcastle 2, Leicester 0. Bruno Guimaraes with the second for Newcastle, but still 0-0 here on Talksport 2 at the Emirates with nearly 5 gone after the restart. Dean Ashton.
Almost an opening, wasn't it? Calvert-Lewin down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Just needed to do it quicker. Just needed to get that head up and play the cross into the danger area rather than cutting back, and then it was a weak attempt to play it in towards Doucouré in the end. And I'm just thinking with Arsenal as well, obviously with Lewis Skelly playing on the left-hand side and him tucking in, what it does do is it takes away from a Timber on the right to get down the right and give Saka even more support to open the play up for him on that side.
Lewis Skelly, who'd only made 2 substitute Premier League appearances before today, getting the start from Mikel Arteta, takes the throw, and it's turned by Marino over halfway, but Branthwaite there again. He's left that a bit short for Pickford. Pickford will get there just ahead of Kai Havertz, and Tarkowski couldn't keep it in play on this near side. They booted the ball away. The Arsenal fans around us not happy with that, but the throw's been taken. Lewis Skelly back for Gabriel. Oxford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Jamal Lowe. The Owls have come from behind there at the Kazam in the Championship. And Oldham 2, Wealdstone 2 in the National League. Gabriel for Arsenal at 0-0. Out to Marino. Lovely first-time ball rolled down the left-hand side of the penalty area, intended for Havertz, but it was well protected by Idrissa Gueye, who allowed it to go behind for what is an Everton goal kick. 0-0.
Well, they nearly made a right mess of things, Everton. Just a simple ball over the top, plenty of time. Tarkowski leaves it for Branthwaite, who makes a mess of the pass back, and actually Havertz lets Pickford off. He could probably slide for it. He allows Pickford to get the ball away, and then, of course, Tarkowski then miscontrols out of play. It's just a bit of a mess.
Pickford takes the free kick downfield. Calvert-Lewin goes up with Gabriel, gets the flick on. Did it come off Gabriel last of all? It did. Everton have a throw in their right wing position. 0-0 the score. Newcastle got a third against Leicester. Alexander Isak makes it 3-0 at St James's Park. Ruud van Nistelrooy heading for his first defeat as Leicester City boss. Exeter 1, Barnsley 1 in League 1. Kelechi Nwakali equalises for the Tykes down at the other St James Park, the one without the apostrophe. Everton have the ball inside the Arsenal half, but they've given it up. Lewis Skelly guides it back to Gabriel, back in the Arsenal side today, who whips it downfield left-footed, well controlled by Havertz, tight to this near touchline, but Everton have won it back, and Idrissa Gueye will work it back into his own half for Branthwaite and then further back for Pickford. Huddersfield get a goal back at home to Lincoln. Brodie Spencer makes it Huddersfield 1, Lincoln City 2. Everton have been dispossessed. Great turn from Bukayo Saka, sprinting down the right-hand side with the ball at his feet. Oh, he rolls his way past the defender, but then tries to beat one defender too many. Claims from around us that Saka was being fouled, but referee Craig Pawson saw nothing wrong with it, and we play on at 0-0.
It was amazing play from Saka. First of all, to get away from Mikalenko, who's tight to his back, and he just rolled away and then jinked through 2 Everton defenders. And then when he goes down the left-hand side, the issue was that 4 Everton defenders went across and just crowded him out in the end.
You know, I was talking to you, Dean, when we did the commentary on Juve Manchester City on Wednesday, and I said to you, I don't think Juve believed that they could beat Manchester City in the first half, but things changed. This is a Premier League game. This isn't a cup tie, you know, Premier League against League 2. Do you think Everton believe that they can beat Arsenal?
I'm not sure they believe it. I think they probably think there's a chance, but they're more focused on defending rather than what they could possibly do if they committed more bodies forward.
And they got more defending to do now as Lewis Skelly has it just ahead of the midway point of the Everton half. Rolls the challenge of Doucouré up to the edge of the area. Havertz just couldn't sort his feet out as the ball was rolled through to him. It was a lovely defence-splitting pass to find the German, but it was just behind him and he couldn't sort his feet out. 0-0 it stays. Calvert-Lewin brings it down very neatly in the centre circle, sprints away from 1 or 2 in Arsenal red and white, still has it down the left-hand side, needs support, and gets it now from Iliman Ndiaye. Plays the ball in field to Idrissa Gueye. Gueye brilliantly dispossessed by Odegaard, and Arsenal win it back. Urged to get forward. You can hear around us that desperation from Arsenal players to want to get forward. Now there's a free kick gone Everton's way. There's an Arsenal player down inside the centre circle, but the free kick has gone to the Toffees as Craig Pawson blew his whistle.
Well, it's a ridiculous decision is what it is. It's a brilliant challenge. He reads it ahead of Havertz. Tarkowski, he wins the ball. Yes, there's a little bit of contact with Havertz with his trailing left leg, but we cannot take that out of the game. A proper tackle.
10-man Liverpool are back level with Fulham at Anfield. That's 1-1. Cody Gakpo. So 1 apiece there, 0-0 here. So both the sides playing today towards the top of the table are being held at home. But Liverpool are down to 10 men after that first half red card for Andy Robertson. Still 11 against 11 here. Arsenal 0, Everton 0, 10 minutes gone in the second period. Peterborough 3, Crawley 2. Crawley back in it again. Will Swan with the second for Crawley. Rotherham 3-0 up on Northampton. Andre Green with the third for Rotherham. Here is Gabriel for Arsenal. Out to the near touchline. Martinelli just over the halfway line. Being watched by Ashley Young, so he gives it back to Miles Lewis Skelly on the halfway line. He finds Mikel Merino. Merino just checks his run, clips it back infield to Lewis Skelly. Gabriel again just over the halfway line. Rolls the ball to his right for Jurriën Timber. Timber looking to go on the outside of Doucouré. Good run, finds Saka on the right wing. Saka checks onto his left, then goes on his right. Past Mikalenko, darts for the dead ball line, and then just ran out of room in the end. He was trying to check again back onto his left, but accidentally stabbed the ball behind for an Everton goal kick, 0-0.
But he just gave him the option because Timber had overlapped Bukayo Saka, and then as Timber then makes his way back, Mikalenko's stuck in the middle. Means Saka can go on the outside himself, and just made a little bit of a mess of it in the end. But they're pushing, but you can really sense the disgruntlement of the Arsenal supporters because they know how important this game is. Every game is.
That's Dean Ashton alongside me, Ian Dante this afternoon. 3-3 now, Peterborough Crawley. Tola Shawumni equalises for Crawley. Arsenal down the right-hand side with Martin Odegaard at 0-0. Finds Bukayo Saka, level with the edge of the penalty area. Rolls it back infield to Jurriën Timber by the right-hand corner of the box. Odegaard takes over now. Lovely ball down the right side of the box. Timber pulls it back. Cleared away by Oro Mangala for a throw. You're listening to Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream all of the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports. Odegaard for the Gunners, lifts the ball into the area. Havertz takes a touch, broke for Saka's shot, was blocked by Tarkowski. Everton are doing all they can. They shall not pass, they say, for now at least, and it remains 0-0 with 12 minutes gone in the second half, and now a free kick goes Everton's way for a foul on Dominic Calvert-Lewin down the left-hand side. I wonder how long it will be, Dean Ashton, before Mikel Arteta makes changes. Meanwhile, Jack Harrison, looked to roll it up to Calvert-Lewin at the edge of the area, but Calvert-Lewin made the run too early for him, straight back into the arms of Raya, 0-0.
Yeah, they've not made the most at all of the mini breaks that they've had, Everton. And Arsenal's intensity has been upped in the last 5 minutes. But so far, still, again, Saka was almost in again. Another blocked shot. It's brilliant defending from Everton.
And they have it again, Arsenal, on halfway. Declan Rice lifting it down the right-hand side, looking to get Saka in behind Mikalenko. But the Ukrainian dealt with it well. Grimsby 0, Crewe 1. In League 2, Jack Lancaster puts Crewe ahead. St Johnstone 1, St Mirren 1 in the Scottish Premiership. And still 0-0 here if you're just tuning into Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2. Here is Gabriel Martinelli for Arsenal as they attack the north bank away to our left in this second half. Ball's rolled in field for Mikel Merino. Ethan Nwaneri going to be coming on in a minute. Ball ricochets around the Everton penalty area but rolls through harmlessly enough in the end, from their point of view, to their goalkeeper Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, he's looked increasingly more towards Nwaneri to come on, the young man. So much talent. He even came on for Odegaard the last Premier League game. So he trusts him. He's got plenty of ability. Also, Jorginho looks like he's probably going to come into the game.
Double change on the way for Arsenal. Everton trying to win the ball back high up the field, and it's rolled back by Saliba. It was Merino that was being pressurised about 25 yards out and was very nearly dispossessed and would have led to an Everton chance. In the end, Arsenal bring it away. Timber on halfway, just nicks it in field to Declan Rice. Rice gets his head up and plays a square ball to his left again for Lewis Skelly. Now Havertz out on the left wing. Marino's gone through the middle this time. Jorginho and Nwaneri wait for the next break in play so they can be introduced by Arsenal for the first changes this afternoon here at Emirates Stadium. Rice plays the ball to his right now, just to the right of centre. Timber looking immediately for Bukayo Saka, who's got Njai and Mikalenko. Plays the ball into the right-hand corner of the box, plays a 1-2 with Odegaard, tries to pull it into the near post, and Pickford's there again to block it at his near post and get it half clear, but Arsenal have it back. Centre of the Everton half, Gabriel. Odegaard with a quick turn, plays it into the area looking for Merino. There's enough of a challenge there from two Everton players to get it away, and Harrison will now bring it clear up towards the midway point of the half on this near touchline. Lofts it down the right, just asking Doucouré to give chase, but Raya has come way out of his penalty area to win possession back. 0-0, Dean Ashton.
Excellent play by Raya, but Martin Odegaard again, you know, being able to find a pass when it's so crowded. Creativity of him is quite incredible to put Saka through, and once again another brilliant block from an Everton player.
An hour gone on Talksport 2. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Remember, Liverpool have levelled it up against Fulham despite being down to 10 men. That's one apiece. Newcastle 2-0 up on Leicester, and Ipswich still leading by that own goal they got at Molineux against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Remember, the game day phone-in will take your calls on all of this afternoon's action over on Talksport from 5:30. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, 03717 223344. And the changes for Arsenal will see Declan Rice making way for Jorginho. That's the first change. It's now 4-0 Newcastle, incidentally. Jacob Murphy's got his second of the afternoon. And the other change, we'll see Martin Odegaard making way for Ethan Nwaneri. Your thoughts on those changes, Dean Ashton?
I mean, look, I'm incredibly surprised that it's Odegaard that's coming off. He is the one that has created the moments. I know Nwaneri's a top talent, but why not put them together in those 2-10 positions and let them try and create, because they've got so much of the ball.
So, there's a double change ready for Everton as well. Armando Broja and Anders Lindstrom going to be coming on for their first changes of the afternoon once the ball goes out of play next. Jesper Lindstrom. Why did I say Anders Lindstrom? Brain's gone. Peterborough 4, Crawley 3. Peterborough back in front. Kean Hayes gets his second of the afternoon. Gillingham leader MK Dons. Robbie McKenzie. That's 1-0 at Stadium MK. Motherwell 3, Dundee United 2 now. Sam Dolby for United. And Oxford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Jeji Gassama for Wednesday. That's going to be no win in 6 for Des Buckingham and Oxford United on a bad run towards the bottom of the Championship. 0-0 in North London. 62 minutes played. Arsenal in possession as they've been 71% of the time so far in this game. Jorginho gets his first touch, and it's worked back to Saliba on halfway. Quickly switches the ball to his left for Gabriel. Now Lewis Skelly looking for Martinelli out on the left-hand side. Martinelli faced up by Mangala. Plays the ball infield to Mikel Merino near the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Has to go back 5 or 10 yards to Gabriel. Now Jorginho takes over. Tries to roll the ball down the right side of the box for Saka, but it's intercepted by Mikalenko. Away came Doucouré, dispossessed. No foul, says the referee. Sean Dyche thought there was a foul. Nothing doing, says Craig Pawson. The two Everton substitutes wait their turn. Out it goes to Nwaneri. His first involvement since coming on as a substitute, but Arsenal have to work it back to Saliba. Out to the right-hand side. Havertz had it there for a moment. It's worked infield to Gabriel once more. Centre of the Everton half. Early ball out to Gabriel Martinelli. Faced up by Ashley Young. Driving towards the dead ball line. Checks onto his right foot. Lofts it to the far post. The heads go up. And it was Kai Havertz with a header, but bounced very comfortably for Jordan Pickford to make the save. It stays 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be impressive if Havertz can get up above Mykolenko or Tarkowski to head that in the back of the net with a floating cross from Martinelli. I don't think that's particularly going to work. But these are the games, if you want to win the Premier League, you have to stay patient. You have to keep believing if you're Arsenal. Just keep working and hope that you then take the chance when it comes along. Because these are difficult games when a team really just sits in and defends for most of it.
You're listening to Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. It's got 60,000 inside the Emirates here as Arsenal come forward with Martinelli down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Rolls it back to just outside the box. Comes back to Marino left wing. Deep ball to the far post beyond Saka, who couldn't bring it down. And it's just going to roll out a play for a throw to Everton. And it stays 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, good to see Broja's back, isn't it? Again, had a real struggle with injury. And Everton need him. Calvert-Lewin has done as much as he can up there, holding the ball up and looking to try and get in behind once again. Completely starved of any supply though.
So Jesper Lindstrom and Armando Broja on. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jack Harrison going off for a double change for Everton in response to that double switch Arsenal made just a few moments ago. Crewe are 2-0 up at Grimsby in League 2 now. Joel Tabiner makes it 2-0 to the Alex. And so Lindstrom and Broja, let's see what they can bring to help Everton try and get what would be a quite fantastic point, all things considered. But there's plenty of time left, 25 minutes to go. 0-0. Saka, right-hand side, fouls his man to free kick to Everton. Lindstrom on loan from Napoli, yet to score or assist since he's come to Everton. Danish international. Broja wants of Chelsea, of course. And he's playing through the centre in place of Calvert-Lewin. He's looking for this long ball hit downfield by Pickford. Gets his head to it, Broja. Looks out to the left-hand side for Doucouré. But Doucouré was being too strong to win the ball off Jorginho. And that's a free kick to Arsenal now. 0-0.
Well, I think, these Arsenal players will be used to this type of situation here at the Emirates. That's happened over the last 2 seasons a few times, and it's about just keeping that strong mentality, not letting a bit of nervousness from the supporters affect them.
Diagonal ball from Gabriel looking for Saka, but that's comfortably intercepted by Njai. Doucouré pops it up to halfway. Broja can't get the better of the combination of Saliba and Jorginho. Jorginho rolls it to his left for Miles Lewis-Skelly. Infield it goes to Jorginho. Gabriel Jesus and Thomas Partey are coming on next for Arsenal for their third and fourth changes. Jesus, who had a couple of great chances to open the scoring against Monaco in the week and failed to take them. Is he going to play instead of Havertz or alongside? We'll soon find out. Meantime, it's Lewis-Skelly for the home side. Midway point of the second half, so a quarter of the game to go. Still goalless on Game Day exclusive. Arsenal in possession with Jorginho. Saka calling for it on the far right-hand side. Gets it now, level with the edge of the area. Checks onto his left foot, then onto his right again. He does have the ability to go both ways these days. Well, it is a left-footed ball. Looking for Havertz. It's gone behind. Great goal kick. Havertz just couldn't climb at the far post. It was well defended by a combination of Tarkowski and Young, and Everton end up with a goal kick. And Arsenal making these 2 further changes. The players coming off. Mikel Merino is making way, and so too is Lewis-Skelly, to allow Jesus and Partey to come on. What have you made of Miles Lewis-Skelly's first Premier League start today, Dean Ashton?
I mean, he looks comfortable, doesn't he? more than comfortable, and he's had to go into midfield and look to get on the ball and play, and he's done that with real confidence. He's not been tested defensively, and that's one thing that'll, I'm sure, come to him at some stage. Be really pleased though with his day's work.
So Partey's gone to right back, and Jurrien Timber, as he did in the week before, has come across to left back. Of course, Lewis Kelly played at left back against Monaco, but it's not an entirely unfamiliar position for Timber, nor indeed Partey playing as an orthodox right full-back. 0-0, 69 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Still Arsenal with the lion's share of possession, but not many clear-cut chances to go with all of that possession. But equally, Everton haven't tested David Raya at all since that early scare that Arsenal got when Doucouré was played in left-hand side of the box in the first half, but struck his shot wide via a deflection. Back it goes to William Saliba. Jorginho, just shy of the halfway line, gets his head up, wants an option. So Jesus and Havertz are both out there, Dean, for Arsenal to try and win this.
Yeah, Havertz has just dropped a little deeper into a more 10 position, and then we'll go and play up alongside Jesus when he can, and when the ball's wide, just try and double up on the two centre-backs.
Martinelli for Arsenal, left wing. Near side to us as they attack the north bank in this second half. We'll leave it for Gabriel. Tries to go on the outside of Lindstrom, only half cleared by Everton. Jorginho back out to the left-hand side, and Timber, who's out on this left-hand side now for the hosts. Jorginho up to the edge of the area. Idrissa Gueye gets an important touch, but it's a poor ball along midfield from Abdoulaye Doucouré, comfortably picked off by Arsenal, and they've got it again in the centre circle with Saliba. Out to Saka on the right-hand side. Mikalenko's tight to him. Saka was caught, but the referee says play on because Arsenal have possession. Jesus then loses out to Tarkowski, and then Idrissa Gueye flicks it out to the left-hand side. Iliman Ndiaye hurries the pass up to halfway. One back by Arsenal. Partey down the right-hand side. Nwaneri takes over, leaves it for Jesus. Lovely ball down the right-hand side of the box for Saka. Twisting and turning, gets to the byline, pulls it back to the far post, and it doesn't find in its intended target. And in actual fact, the ball, in fact, there's an offside flag against Saka, so it'll be a free kick to Everton. It's currently Arsenal 0, Everton 0. And for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can back Arsenal to win at 10-7 on, back Everton to win at 14-1 against. You can back the draw at 7-5 on as well. That's all thanks to William Hill. 18+, begambleaware.org. Wrexham 2, Cambridge 1 in League 1. Stephen Fletcher, the old stager, puts Wrexham in front at the racecourse. 0-0 here. Everton have possession in the centre circle, but Lindstrom is dispossessed well by Martinelli, who's trying to drive past him now as he moves into the Everton half, but in slides Lindstrom to put it out for a throw. Quickly given back by Arteta, its manager, to Martinelli to get play restarted. Martinelli nicks the ball in field. Was he caught off the ball there? He was, by Ashley Young and Lindstrom, and a yellow card is issued for that challenge by Craig Pawson, and it'll be a free kick for Arsenal, almost level with the edge of the penalty area on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's the first time he's really dived in, isn't it, Ashley Young? I just wonder whether
there's one more change for Arsenal.
A bit of fatigue though still for Young. He's done a lot of work against Martinelli.
Trossard's coming on, I think. Meantime, free kick's been taken down the left-hand side of the box. Bukayo Saka's out on this left-hand side for the moment for Arsenal. Finds Martinelli on the left wing, up against Lindstrom, jockeying for position, whips the right-footed ball in. Pickford elects to punch with his left fist, gets it clear, out to the right-hand side. Gabriel trying to keep the ball in play and finds Havertz. Havertz rolls it back to Partey. Partey, lovely drop of the shoulder, up to the right-hand corner of the box. It's then laid back in field to William Saliba. Saliba out to the right-hand side, and Partey tosses the ball into the area, takes a deflection, headed up in the air by Doucouré, drops around the penalty spot, might drop for Timber, but no, there's blue shirts of Everton back there to get it clear right downfield. It's still 1-1 at Anfield, but Mo Salah's missed a massive opportunity apparently to put Liverpool in front. Are Arsenal going to get a massive opportunity here to hit the front against Everton? Martinelli giving chase down to the corner flag, keeps it in play and hits the ball against Young for an Arsenal throw. Shrewsbury 0, Wycombe 3, the League One leaders 3 up through Fred Onyedinma. Now Trossard is coming on and Martinelli making way. Dean Ashton. Arsenal have got 17 minutes plus added time to find a way through.
And he was just starting to get the better of Ashley Young, Martinelli, and then you take him off. Yes, Trossard will bring something very different though. He'll look to make the run inside of Ashley Young towards Tarkowski rather than maybe on the outside.
Corner kick won by Arsenal at the North Bank end, and it's going to be Trossard to take it, but he's just having a word with Saliba, who's just trotted over to give him some instructions in theory. Cheltenham 2, Morecambe 0 in League 2. George Miller gets the second for Cheltenham. Corner to Arsenal at 0-0 here at Emirates Stadium as we're into the last quarter of this game. Just over a quarter of an hour to play. Trossard just checks that the run-up has no divots to obstruct his path on the way to the ball. Right-footed in-swinger to come from Leandro Trossard. The players make the run from the back post, goes deep to the far post, headed up by Jesus. Saliba and Gabriel across the face of goal, but Everton get it clear to Idrissa Gana Gueye, but he can't find Brozier. But then the ball across from Jorginho is poorly sent, looking for Trossard, and it's gone out of play for an Everton throw, and Sean Dyche's men can breathe again, 0-0.
Yeah, it's been a Herculean effort at the moment from this Everton team. And I say team because every single one of them are having to put in a proper defensive, organised shift. And they are, and every time the ball falls in the penalty area, it's a blue shirt that wins it. They've been terrific.
But there's still time. 15 minutes of normal time to go. Wolves equalise against Ipswich. Matthias Cunha makes it 1-1 at Molineux. So Newcastle 4 up, and 1-1 between Wolves and Ipswich, and Liverpool and Fulham in the Premier League. Here at Emirates Stadium, it is still Arsenal 0, Everton 0 on Talksport 2. More cricket to come tonight. Day 2 of the final test. England looking to get the 3-0 series victory over New Zealand. And the Kiwis finished day 1 315 for 9, having started by getting a 100-plus partnership for the opening wicket. So a good response from England in the afternoon and evening sessions. Day 2 live and exclusive with us this evening. Luton are down to 10 men. Liam Walsh has been sent off at Blackburn. They're already 2-0 down. Stoke 1, Cardiff 2. Ben Gibson for Cardiff. Arsenal coming forward with a cross into the box, headed back to the penalty spot by Gabriel, but nobody could stroke it home in red and white.
Well, the first header from Havertz, that was the one, and he just missed it. Ended up going through to Gabriel, who couldn't adjust his body, but Havertz had a free header there.
Arsenal have it again. Thomas Partey into the centre of the half for William Saliba. Out to the left wing, and Timber onto his right foot will just chip the ball into the air, but the offside flag's gone up against Timber. Pickford just whacks the ball away, and he's going to get a yellow card for that, for kicking the ball away after the whistle had gone. He's complaining about it, but he did clearly kick the ball after the offside flag had gone up.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. Of course he did.
He's protesting his innocence, as well he might. Shrewsbury 1, Wycombe 4. What a great side Matt Bloomfield's Wycombe Wanderers are. One of the have-nots of League One, but they're leading the way. Daniel Udoh with the 4th there. Swansea 2, Sunderland 2. Swansea were 2 up, but Dan Neil has equalised for the Black Cats at the Swansea.com Stadium. And Chesterfield 2-0 up at Carlisle. Will Grigg for Chesterfield. Everton have hit the ball long downfield, and Brozier felt he was fouled as he went down the right-hand side. Holds his arms out to the referee, who says nothing doing, and it stays 0-0, and Arsenal have the ball back. But time is running out here. 13 minutes, just less than that to play at Emirates Stadium. Liverpool drawing at the top. Arsenal drawing here. Desperate to close the gap to Arne Slot and the pace setters in the Premier League. Can Arsenal find the breakthrough? They've had all the possession. Ball into the area from Trossard, headed clear by Tarkowski. And then Trossard goes to ground cheaply. No foul by Lindstrom, says the referee. And the substitute brings it clear. Tries to release Brozier down the right-hand side, but Saliba glides into position and gets the ball back to his keeper. 0-0.
Yeah, he's got that pace, hasn't he, Saliba? Even if you think you can outrun him, you can't. And he read it beautifully. It just makes it so hard for Everton to keep possession at all. But again, defensively, it's been some performance.
That's Dean Ashton, former West Ham and England striker, alongside me, Ian Danta, here at Emirates Stadium. 12 to go. Arsenal in possession. Trossard, aimless ball down the left-hand side of the area. No shot on target as yet. One goal attempt for Everton in this game, but they're holding on here.
They are. I go back to that substitution. Unless Martin Odegaard has got a problem, I really don't understand that. I just don't. He was by far the best, most creative. He was the one that was finding a pass.
But it wasn't greeted, that substitution, with "what is he doing?" by the Arsenal fans. You know, I've seen it when Granit Xhaka's been substituted here, and it's all kicked off.
I guess it's because you've got this young player, Waneri, that's coming on, that they want to give the support to.
Reading 0, Blackpool 3. Ashley Fletcher gets the third for Blackpool. Sunderland lead at Swansea now. 2-0 down, but 3-2 up. Joe Bellingham gets the third for Sunderland. 0-0 here. Just over 10 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Arsenal will get increasingly desperate in their search for a goal that, as things stand, will bring them a couple of points closer to Liverpool. Trossard did his best to keep the ball in play as the ball came over his shoulder tight to the touchline. But he's not had a good introduction to this game so far, Leandro Trossard.
No, and since the substitutions, they've lost that nice flow that they were having up until that point. Because of the changes, it's just gone a bit clunky, this Arsenal performance, attacking performance anyway, in this second half. And Everton are looking more and more comfortable, albeit without being remotely a threat.
Here's Lindstrom down the right-hand side, looks to release Brozier. He looks offside to me, and indeed the flag will go up. 0-0. More live games for you tomorrow here on Talksport 2. Norwich Burnley at 3 o'clock in the Championship, as Brozier goes to retrieve the ball, throws it away, and is going to get a yellow card for delaying the restart of play. What is he doing? They know the rules now, surely. So after Norwich Burnley on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock, then we've got a choice of Premier League commentaries at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Southampton Tottenham on Talksport, Chelsea Brentford here on Talksport 2. Monday night game night will bring you Bournemouth against West Ham on Talksport, an 8 o'clock kickoff. Branthwaite gets a boot in the top of the head from Gabriel Jesus. Nothing malicious in that, but just caught the top of Branthwaite's head, and Everton will get a free kick just outside their penalty area. And I hope that you can hear, wherever you are listening to Talksport, so you can hear around us just how tense it is getting, certainly in this West Stand where we're sat, but all around Emirates Stadium. There's that increasing feeling of dread that Arsenal going to get this job done against this really tough, obdurate Everton team. Dean Ashton.
It's because they know they've got a side that has to push to win the Premier League, and they know that these games where it's become nervy, that at times they've not been able to produce. Look, they've still got time. You've still got to think as an Arsenal player that we will create the chance and we'll score. How often do we see it with the top sides that can find a goal?
Here's Kai Havertz in the centre circle for Arsenal. Options left and right. Plays it just to his right. Nwaneri takes over up to the edge of the area. Great feet from Ethan Nwaneri, but just couldn't take it past the last player. Little ball through the legs by Idrissa Gueye, and Lindstrom tries to release Brozier over the top, but Saliba there again to tidy up for Arsenal.
I was thinking, Armando Brozier, get away from Saliba. Why are you stood anywhere near him? He's already got your number. Go somewhere else.
Trossard, left-hand side for Arsenal. 7.5 minutes to go of normal time. 0-0 on Talksport 2. Partey takes over, just past the centre circle. Rolls it out to the right wing where Bukayo Saka is waiting. Back in field for Partey. Thinks about lofting the ball into the area. Hasn't done it yet. Plays the ball back into square to Saliba. Now Jorginho in central midfield for Arsenal. Nwaneri back to Saliba. First time ball is going to be intercepted by Iliman Ndiaye, and suddenly Everton have got a counter-attack on it. It's 3-on-3 just for a moment as Ndiaye just slows it down a little bit, getting down the left-hand side, then quickens up as Nwaneri comes to get back at him. Ndiaye gets to the byline. Great run from the former Sheffield United man. but the cross is deflected away. No corner. Liverpool 1, Fulham 2. Rodrigo Muniz has put Liverpool back in front. Surely the Arsenal fans will find that out and know that a winner here gets them even closer to Liverpool. And you can hear it around us, the increasing desperation. So Liverpool 1, Fulham 2. 6.5 to go here at Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Gabriel for the Gunners. Just over the halfway line. Out left to Trossard. Faced up by Ashley Young. Has to drift back a few yards and give the ball back in field to Gabriel. Now Saliba in the centre circle. Options right and left. Goes backwards to square to Partey. Get it forward, say the Arsenal fans around us. Now it goes down the left wing, slid into the path of Trossard, trying to go on the outside of Lindstrom. Good ball to the far post. Saka heads it down, and they tried to guide it towards goal. It was Jesus who tried to wrap his foot round it. A desperate clearance from Everton.
Yeah, he did really well, Saka, to get his head on it, but actually Havertz was behind him, who wanted the header instead.
Saka again, down the right-hand side for Arsenal. Up against Njai, tries to get the cross in, Njai blocks it. Out for a throw to Arsenal, right-hand side. Dramatic climax here at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal so desperate for a winning goal. Trossard again down the left-hand side, skips past Lindstrom, lofts the ball to the far post, headed away by Branthwaite for a corner. 0-0.
Brilliant header. Absolutely vital header as well from Branthwaite, because Havertz was there just ready to throw his head at this. Brilliant from Trossard, cutting back in onto his right foot, just lent it up in the air to say to Havertz, go and win it. Branthwaite, excellent header to flick it away.
So Saka's going to take it at the North Bank end, away on the far side of the field, a left-footed in-swinger. Once again the red and white shirt stationed beyond the far post prior to him taking the kick. A few will make the run across as Saka delivers left-footed with an in-swinger. In it comes from Saka. It's really deep this time to the far post. Timber heads it back across the face of goal, drops on the 6-yard line, cleared away by a desperate Everton defending, and Idrissa Gueye will try and get the ball out of the penalty area, does eventually, and finds Brozier just shy of the halfway line. Can he bring it down? He can, and gets the better of Jorginho. Motoring into the Arsenal half now. Holds the run up, Brozier. Then gets past another man in Ranieri, keeping the ball down the left-hand side. Only Lindstrom up in support at the moment in Everton blue, and now it's rolled back and picked up by Idrissa Gueye. Rolls it across to Doucouré, 30 yards out. Doucouré slides in Ashley Young down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Young's cross headed out by Partey to the edge of the area. Mikalenko comes in, takes a drive, deflects off an Arsenal player, and out for a corner kick. Is it? No. Well, it looked like it went out for a corner.
Oh, it did.
David Raya protected it, says the assistant on this near side. 0-0.
Well, it did look like it went out, but the referee's assistant couldn't keep up with play.
No, he was a good 6 or 7 yards behind the ball. So Arsenal have it. 86 gone. 0-0. Gabriel Jesus on the left wing picks it up for Arsenal now. Skips infield, right footed ball floated to the far post. Comfortable claim by Jordan Pickford. Stays 0-0.
But that's why they've looked so good, Everton. From those crosses, you've got that two defensive players in Tarkowski and Branthwaite who are so dominant in the air. The minute it goes over the top of their heads, Pickford's nice and aggressive behind them to just come and claim or punch.
3 minutes to go. Still goalless. Everton trying to pressurise Arsenal inside their own half. Arsenal have it back. Fans urging them forward. Leandro Trossard down this left-hand side. Plays the ball in field to Jurrien Timber. Timber trying to release Jesus through the area, but it ricochets off a boot and bounces through to Pickford. And it stays 0-0. Are Everton going to see this out? Mikel Arteta out to the edge of his technical area. I mean, applauding his players.
At what point do you say maybe you put Gabriel up there? And because if you're going to get lots of crosses in, put someone like Gabriel who's so aggressive in the air.
Ball's been headed back to David Raya. St Johnstone 2, St Mirren 1 in the Scottish Premiership. But here in the Premier League, 2 minutes to go of normal time on Talksport 2's Game Day exclusive, and it is still Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Still over 3/4 of possession has come the way of Mikel Arteta's side, but they've not made it count yet. Partey just over halfway. Lofts it down the right-hand side looking for Saka. Mykolenko heads it in field. Anywhere will do from Everton. It's Brandthwaite that got it clear. Might drop for an Everton boot on halfway, but no, Arsenal win it back. Gabriel looking for Trossard, left-hand side, immediately closed down by Lindstrom. Almost level with the Everton penalty area. Trossard couldn't take it past Lindstrom. Got his foot in well, the Danish substitute, but he couldn't keep the ball in play on this near side throw to Arsenal. 90 seconds of normal time to go. Back it goes to William Saliba, just over the halfway line. Everton have got everybody back behind the ball, as you might expect. Gabriel out to the left wing, and Trossard once again. Checking onto his right foot, not getting the cross in yet. Mangala watching him. Now he clips it into the area. Little touch from Jesus. Timber to the dead baller. Pulls it back across, but it found a blue shirt instead of a red and white one. And it was Decore that got it clear. Stays in play on this near side. Gabriel, brilliant run from him. Got past two players. Now Trossard up to the edge of the area. Timber at the edge of the box, just to the left of centre. Slides it out left to Gabriel Jesus. Jesus with a shot, blocked by Tarkowski on its way to goal. Comes back to Jesus. Across it goes to Thomas Partey. He leaves it for Saliba 30 yards out. Thought about a shot. Gives it to Partey. Partey driving into the area. Goes down. No penalty, says Craig Pawson. Unmoved, and the ball is cleared downfield. Arsenal get it back. Jorginho, inside right channel, finds Saka on the right wing, checks onto his left foot, right-hand corner of the area, finds Timber now at the edge of the box. First touch is heavy, and Ashley Young just boots it clear, and it'll land near the halfway line where Brozier scraps for possession with Gabriel and with Jorginho. And a free kick because Jorginho handled the ball when he was down on the deck thinking he'd been fouled. And we're moving into 4 minutes of minimum stoppage time, and we're still at 0-0, Dean Ashton.
Oh, well, it was a big call, wasn't it? The penalty shout for Arsenal. It was Mykolenko that just about wrapped his left foot around it as Thomas Partey tried to go on the inside. He got a little touch. He did take out Thomas Partey before he then hooked the ball back. It's just whether he got an initial touch to start with. That first step across from Mykolenko with his left foot, it's almost like he took Partey out, but whether he really touched it or not, and then he hooked his foot around it.
VAR is taking a look at Stockley Park as we speak. Yeah, I mean, VAR today's Paul Tierney.
I'm not sure.
No foul. It says no foul.
I think this is a big call. The fact that I don't think he touches it with the initial step across.
Well, it's the clear and obvious error thing, I guess, and referee's call, which we've been told about this season. 2-2 at Anfield. 2-2 at Anfield. Wow. And it's Huddersfield 2, Lincoln 2 in League One. I'll give you the Liverpool goal scorer in a minute. Meantime, Everton have a free kick. We've played 1 minute of the minimum 4 that's been added on. And it's still 0-0, and a wayward header from Yuri and Timber trying to head it back downfield. Just headed it straight out of play for an Everton throw in the right wing area. 1.5 minutes of added time gone. It's Jota who's got the equaliser for Liverpool. Wow, just can't keep a good team down. 2-2 at Anfield, 0-0 here. So there'll be no change in the points gap between Arsenal and Liverpool. It's going to be a corner for Everton as the throw-in down the right-hand side came off the back of Gabriel. And Everton have a late corner here. Now, how much ambition do they show? Jordan Pickford's gone up to the halfway line. Now, he's not going into the penalty box for the corner. That much is clear. But he's clearly passing out some instructions to his teammates as Lindstrom prepares to take this corner kick.
What a moment this would be, wouldn't it? For an Everton head.
Yeah.
Gets on the end of this and puts it in the back of the net.
At the clock end. Jesper Lindstrom, right-footed. Drifts it deep to the far post. Up go the heads. It's headed back across the face of goal. Currently claimed by Raya. You'll hear from Sean Dyche and Mikel Arteta with Alex Crook live on Talksport between 5 and 5:30 as Adrian Durham wraps up all the afternoon's talking points before the game day phone-in starts with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy at 5:30-ish. 03717223344. Arsenal fans, get your thoughts into Jamie and Jason on your team's performance, finding it so tough to break this Everton team down. There's still a minute of minimum stoppage time left on Talksport 2. Saka for Arsenal, right-hand side. trying to make room to toss the ball into the area, rolls it in field for Havertz, who lays it off to Jorginho, spread out to the left wing for Leandro Trossard, up against Lindstrom, trying to go on the outside of Lindstrom, gets to the corner flag, and Lindstrom just gets a foot in, prevents the corner, but it is an Arsenal throw. Down the left-hand side, only a couple of yards from the corner flag. Trossard to take it, throws it into Havertz, gives it back to the Belgian, ball's out of play, another Arsenal throw. Havertz wants to take it this time. There's two balls on the pitch, they've got to clear the other one off there. In fact, the offside flag's got against an Arsenal player, and that may well be that, because Everton are going to be able to get the ball downfield from this free kick, and the 4 minutes of minimum stoppage time are nearly up. Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I mean, look, they just haven't created enough, Arsenal. They took Martin Odegaard off too early, in my opinion, unless there's an injury there. And they just have not been able to create the chances. Only 6 shots in this second half, 3 on target. But still, it's not been enough. And let's get it right. I mean, Everton have been magnificent defensively.
Pickford smacks the free kick downfield, but it'll drift out of play. The 4 minutes of minimum stoppage time are up. I think there's 1 more minute to go. I think that's the indication Craig Pawson's just given to the players out there. One last chance for Arsenal to get the ball forward here at Emirates Stadium. It's with Jorginho on halfway. Oh, tried to slide it out to the right-hand side, but Everton have won it back. Iliman Ndiaye. Doucouré making a run through the middle. Here is Idrissa Gueye out to the left-hand side, and Armando Broja. Broja will just slow the game down, won't put the ball into the box, he's just holding it up down by the corner flag, tries to roll his man, one back by Arsenal, but they've got to get the ball downfield. One last chance, Saka looking to release Gabriel, who's got forward, but Ashley Young gets back and clears it back into the Arsenal half of the field. Arsenal bring it forward again with Gabriel Jesus. We play on Talksport. Diagonal ball up to the edge of the area. Up goes Havertz with Mikalenko, but it gets away from both of them, and Pickford can just jog after the ball and pick it up down by the dead ball line just before Bukayo Saka, his England teammate, gets to him. And he will take his time about clearing the ball downfield. And there goes the full-time whistle. Everton have put up the stoutest of rearguard actions and taken a point away from Emirates Stadium. And Arsenal failed to close the gap on Liverpool, who are drawing as we speak against Fulham. It's 0-0 here. Everton had an occasional foray on goal. Arsenal dominated the ball, 81% possession for Mikel Arteta's men this afternoon, but they couldn't make it count. You could argue their better chances came in the first half rather than the second, but they just couldn't find a way through. Sean Dyche's well-drilled Everton. He applauds the Everton fans who came down here from Merseyside more in hope than expectation. They've got a point to take back to the northwest. 2 points drop for Arsenal, that's for sure. Full-time score at Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Everton 0.
Huge for Arsenal, failing to capitalise on Liverpool potentially dropping points, because at Anfield at the moment there is 9 minutes of added time, just as Diogo Jota had equalised for Liverpool, who've been playing the majority of the game with 10 men. Absolutely huge at Anfield at the moment, with the leaders potentially dropping points. Arsenal failing to capitalise, but a massive point for Everton, Dean Ashton.
Absolutely. I mean, that'll be one of the best clean sheets that Sean Dyche's Everton side will ever keep. I thought they were so disciplined. I thought there was a massive togetherness in the way that they defended, because the amount of blocks that they had to put in and did do because they were covering their fellow defender. You know, the forwards putting in their efforts and was fully needed as well. You know, they showed so much passion and desire that you can't question that.
You certainly can't. Some passion and desire being shown at Molineux as well from Ipswich Town, really struggling in the relegation places, and Jack Taylor has just got what looks to be the eventual winner for Ipswich away from home. They'd scored an own goal Wolves to put Ipswich ahead, but they've got themselves back into the game through Mateus Cunha. But Jack Taylor in the 94th minute looks to have taken all 3 points for Ipswich potentially. I'll keep you updated on that as well as what's going on at Anfield at the moment. I mentioned what was happening with Liverpool. They were a goal down through Andreas Pereira within 11 minutes, and then they had Andy Robertson sent off on 17 minutes. The game then panned out with Fulham taking the lead eventually, and then Liverpool getting themselves back into it. 5 minutes after coming on, Diogo Jota got Liverpool back in the game. It's currently 2-2. They're about 3 minutes into 9 minutes of added time at Anfield currently, looking to maintain their lead at the top of the Premier League table. Arsenal have dropped points here. There were a few boos as well, I heard, Dino, at the final whistle. Not that many, but I think that both these games show the difference perhaps between these two sides, because Arsenal had this game. They could have won this game. Brilliant defending from Everton. I'm not taking anything away from them at all. But with the players that Arsenal have at their disposal, they should be winning games like this. However, Liverpool, backs against the wall, playing the majority of the game with 10 men, have got themselves back into theirs. That is the kind of mark of champions.
It is, and that's the frustration here, I'm sure, is that they know they've got a side that are capable. There will be certain Arsenal fans, and I do agree with them, that Arsenal, I think, had a great opportunity to go and get a marquee striker in the summer. I'm not saying just the striker alone is going to make the difference, but you think it could in these moments, in these sorts of games, when you're creating actually only a few half chances. Can a top striker be able to take one of those? They didn't create enough ultimately. They allowed Everton to just swamp the middle of the pitch, and from crosses they were able to deal, and they didn't create. There wasn't one chance where you went, oh, how have Arsenal missed that? And that's credit to Everton, but actually you've got to look at yourselves as Arsenal players to say we have to have done more in this game, and then it feels like for the Arsenal fans as if they're just going to come up short once again, even though time after time they'll watch their team and think we're a proper team.
And actually Everton could have nicked the points right at the death as well. They were still pushing for a winner. They didn't just sit back and think, do you know what, we'll settle with a point.
No, look, they gave it a go when they had that opportunity, but it was always going to be probably a set play for Everton, and Tarkowski got his head onto it, but I'd say that performance for Everton is what you would expect here. You know, tiny moments where they could score or have a chance to, but most of the game they're defending. This is about Arsenal. This is about, once again, not quite being able to win a game that I'm afraid champions do. They do. Over the years, we've seen it so often. The Man Cities, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, the Manchester United, they've been able to. They have, and it will cost you come the end of the season. These points could certainly cost them.
Yep, they certainly could.